It's Wednesday, 9th of July 25, and I'm talking about one of my big issues, uh, the super rich, and their money is just, if they have it squirreled away, it's just dead money really. It's out of the economy, it's not doing anything for the people or anything. So, yeah, I don't think billionaires should really exist. I think it's just, I don't know how you would put a top on it, say, you can only have 100 million, and really the money should just go back to the government after that, really, in my opinion. Something like that. Because the government is our elected officials. It's elected us. I mean, I think our electoral system's rubbish, but so we should have an electoral system like um, Switzerland. As direct democracy as possible. But I just asked Google Gemini a few questions about this because there's a poll by YouGov today where most people seem to agree that there should be a 2% wealth tax on the super rich, those over 10 million, and even they agree with it in general. Because we've always been taught that the opposite, that we need to stop taxing the rich and we need to leave them alone, and we need to let them trickle down, all this sort of thing. It just seems to be the opposite really. Um, Anyway, I just wanted to show you this. First of all, to give you an idea, I asked Google Gemini how many billionaires there are who have over 10 billion globally, and I don't think it gave me the right answer though. It says there are about 20 to 25 individuals with a net worth of 100 billion or more. So I accept that. That's probably true. 10 billion is a lot higher, a lot harder. $10 billion. It doesn't have a definitive count for that. Yeah, the top 50 to 100 richest people generally fall into that category, but there's probably a lot more actually. It may be like 1,000, 2,000. Because I mean, just thinking something like the 2008 crash, which was caused by speculators who usually make big profits off, basically betting on the housing market in America and stuff like that. That's what they were doing or whatever. Then they had those junk bonds. Um, Billionaires could have just said, if I was a multi-billionaire, what I would have said is, the UK's in trouble, I'm going to give you a billion, and I'm encouraging other billionaires in the UK to do the same. Um, and then I think, and I looked how many billionaires there are in the UK with over 10 billion pounds. So that's not even dollars, that's like $12 billion or something. And apparently there's about 13 individuals. So imagine if each of them had given a billion each. They didn't have it back then, but they probably made more sense then because they sort of probably they shorted the prices, it was going down, and then they bet the other way and it was going back up. Um, so that would have been 13 billion. Say if there was 13 decabillionaires or whatever you call it. Back then that would have been 13 billion they could have given to the government on our behalf. Here we are, we're going to give you this. Did they do that? No, they didn't. Um, so who have we got in there anyway? There's a Kopi and Duja, I don't know who that is. Is that the steel making family? David and Simon Rubin. Leonard Blavatnik, that was Boris Johnson's pal, isn't it? He bought I think he was an oligarch type. Well, not officially oligarch. I don't know if he's officially or not, but once our government told Roman Abramovich to get out of the country, they didn't say the same to him, so I don't know what his situation is. James Dyson, 20 billion. So who's the most? Mostly get 35 billion. Eden offer. Guy George, Alana and Gillian Weston. Never heard of them. So Jim Ratcliffe, he was brought up in a council house. Maybe his mum get housing benefit, we don't know. He's not. He's living in Monaco now, I think. Lakshmi Mittal family, I think that's the steelmakers or whatever. John Fredrickson, so Igor and Dmitry Bookman, Kristen and John Rossing, I think they're the ones that own that. The sort of technology for cartons, you know, the way you open cartons, or, you know, which I don't like actually. These sort of cartons. Michael Platt, never heard of him. Charlene de Carvalho. Heineken. 10 billion, says they're the last ones at number 13. It's worth noting that these figures are estimates and can fluctuate, etc. So this is just Britain alone. So in 2008, well, maybe there was no billionaires there. We don't know. Probably was a few. But in depressions, these people seem to make even more. And I don't know why that is, but there you go. So if there was a big crash now, they could go. And in fact, we're supposed to have a big tax cap. I don't know if we actually do. I think Labour are just making it up, 22 billion. But these people could just go, okay, we'll put in that 22 billion for you, for the country, because it's in our interest to have a stable. We all want to live here. It's in our country for it to be stable and flourishing. Most of their money is just locked away, not doing anything. You know, it's not like money that the poor have that's getting spread around amongst the economy, even if that's local shop bookmakers, you know what I mean? That sort of thing. Anyway, I asked how many billionaires there are over the world that have got more than 10 billion. They couldn't tell me, but there's 25 individuals who have more than 100 billion. And of course that's Elon Musk, Larry Ellison, most of them are Americans, Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, all of them probably most of them actually that made their fortune in stable societies that now have got out of whack. And we have these ultra super rich. And the countries themselves seem to be close in debt. Larry Page, Warren Buffett, Sergey Brin, they're all, Steve Ballmer. I think most of these are American. Bill Gates there. The Walton family, that's the, what do you call that? Walgreens, is it? Michael Bloomberg. The collective wealth of the world's richest 500 individuals has been reported to exceed $10 trillion in 2024. So there you go. Anyway, back to this poll in the UK, because this just puts our democracy upside down, you know. We've been taught like Thatcherism and Jacob Rees-Mogg and Nigel Farage. We need to look after the mega rich, you know. So, and personally, I think we should be having polls all the time. MPs should be doing polls all the time. They should be asking their constituents, how should I vote on this bill? We shouldn't have bills. They should be broken down into smaller things. But yeah, how should I vote on this? You know, especially if it's a vote of conscience like we had in the past couple of weeks. They should be asking their constituents. I don't believe in first past the post anyway, but that's one way you could democratise it. And anyway, we've been taught that we need to look after the rich, super rich. We need to stop taxing them, etc. Even though they get a bit like, well, 52 families have more wealth in the UK than the rest is put together. I think that's what Zara Sultana was saying, and I think she's probably right. I'm not a fan of hers or politics, but she's probably right, you know. So this recent YouGov poll, and I don't know why there aren't more polls like this that sort of let the politicians know the situation. This has only come about because Neil Kinnock said the other day on Sky News he thought there should be a 2% tax on wealth assets if they've got over 10 million in wealth, £10 million. Because he said it would raise about 11 to 12 billion. Patriotic millionaires have been saying this for ages, and patriotic millionaires are like the King's New Clothes, which is one of my favourite child story, really. I mean, it's pretty basic, you know, the Emperor's New Clothes. It's pretty basic. It's just a truth, you know. But the surprising thing about this is, first of all, we had a poll saying that most millionaires want to be taxed more. So that's the opposite that the Tories, Reform are telling us, and even Labour are telling us. The leadership of Labour are telling us for the last, since Neil Kinnock, really, ironically, in 87 or something like that, but even before then. And this is a good thing about the internet. I think this is because of the internet. But YouGov finally done a poll on this, and they found that surveyed 4,000 adults in Great Britain were surveyed. Do they support or oppose to introducing a wealth tax of 2% a year, I think that is, on wealth above £10 million, which might raise, Neil Kinnock says 11 to 12 million. The patriotic millionaires say about 22 billion, I should say. So there's your holes, your tax holes, which I'm not even sure there is actually. That's that sorted straight away. So amongst all adults, 49% support, strongly support, 26 somewhat support. So we'll go to the total support first. Among all adults, 75%. Labour voters, 88%, Lib Dem 83%, and even amongst Tory and Reform, there's Tories 61%, and even Reform 55%. Total support that idea, and oppose it. Reform are 26%, Tories 28%, Lib Dems 9%, Labour 4%, and who's at top again? All adults 13%. So everyone's totally in support of this really, and it broke it down in different ways. And there's a strongly support there, male, female, and a region. It's no surprise really that slightly the females more so are in favour of it, and there's a somewhat support. And of course we've got a dominoes, but I'll just go to the total support. So all adults 75%, males 73% support, females 76%, and then region, what have we got here? London 79%, the South excluding London 73%, Midlands, North, Wales and Scotland. Midlands 74%, North 77%, Wales 78%, Scotland 79%. And I think in Scotland was the most for strongly support, 52%, Wales 50%, North 52%, Midlands 48%, South 46%, London 53%. And then the other way it was broken down, social grade, ABC 1 46%, C2DE 54%, strongly support. So again, strongly support, and even somewhat support, they're really in there. And then looking at the total support, 74% and 77%. I mean, that is incredible. That's overwhelming. I mean, nobody can really argue against that if you see this poll, if they're showing this poll. That's why I think in Question Time they should keep showing polls. I don't watch Question Time. I'm very interested in politics, but Question Time's just silly. Then I done it as a bar chart just to see. This is Google Gemini. Yeah, there's ABC 1, 74% support. C2DE, 77% support. Yeah, that's it really. I just wanted to show that. So this is why polls are so important, I think. Polls and council by-elections and general, MP by-elections, they're all very important, I think, because it's the only way to get the message to politicians really, because Labour are happy. They've got 34% of the vote they won last year, and they get 66% of the MPs. I think it was about a 59% turnout. I think it's the lowest turnout is around about 927 or something like that. Labour are delighted with that. They say that's us, we can do what we like for 5 years. And as Keir's saying, now he can't because he's 130 of his MPs were against what he wanted to do in the welfare thing. And if you think of that as well, last year about 10 voted against that thing to do. What was it? Was it a child cap benefit or something? He was keeping it or something. And Zara Sultana and John McDonnell voted against it. Or what? That was 10 of them. And he took the whip away from them. And this year he's had the same problem with 134 of them. And he didn't take the whip away from them. That's because they were all scared to vote against Keir. But now they say they can't. They just can't go ahead with what he's proposing, and then they finally did, even though it gets just watered down a bit. But yeah, I mean, Labour, I don't know why anyone's voting Labour anyway. I don't know why people voted them last year, especially in the Northern Wall, who all voted Labour again, apart from Lee Anderson. That was the only one that they kept. Didn't go back to Labour. I don't know why. Next time, I don't think they'll go back. So I just thought that was interesting, and it just shows you how our political system just doesn't work, the electoral system. I mean, a lot of people would call this populist if they were to do this because the people want it. But that's the way you're meant to run a democracy. Whether it's right or wrong is another thing, or you agree or you don't. That's the way you're meant to run a democracy, in my opinion. So the idea of populism is exactly what I want, really. Um, so I don't believe in the parties that hamper system, parties and parties. I believe in issues, voting in issues. The Swiss electoral system's the nearest to what I believe in, but even that's probably not good enough. But I agree with Robert Lowe's idea of Restore Britain trying to influence the Overton window across all the parties, and also I believe in Advance UK. They're probably my nearest party, but I mean I wouldn't totally agree with them. On economy, probably don't or whatever. Um, but I believe in more democracy and that. Okay, that's all for now on this issue. Bye bye.